Nice to be here.
Tell us where here is for you.
I'm in beautiful Los Angeles.
Okay. So behind you, I see a little Greek coffee house. That's how I want to kick off the interview. You're giving everybody around the world a taste of Greece, and people who may not follow Alexi on Instagram, you gotta, because he definitely is giving us a taste of Greece.
It's mobile Greek coffee. I import everything from Greece and Cyprus, my teas, my coffees, my waters.
Okay.
I bring Luke, childhood favorite for many Greeks.
Okay.
Iced teas from Tubunu. And I roll around LA and I serve all the beautiful people, locals, tourists. I wanted real Greek products. When I moved here to America from Cyprus, I realized the cafe weren't the same. The honey wasn't quite the same. There was just too many things that I missed. So I decided to open a business so I could import things from myself. But the leftovers, I decided, why not share with the world? So I built this little box to do so, and I roll around LA offering all imported, all organic Greek beverages. I even get catering done for some of the sweet and savory pastries like the spanakopithes, tirobites, kologicobites, baklava, the classics, kurapiedes, all that. And I roll around LA, I post up, and I sell. I do events, I do films, and I'm just blanketing LA and trying to offer people an authentic Greek experience. The taste and the Greek.
You did get both. So what's the response been like in LA so far? You've been doing it for about a year, right?
I just closed a year about a month ago.
Okay. So what's the response been like?
It's been amazing. I always knew people would love frappe, but the experience is as important as the coffee and the drinks for these people. Like I said, it's important that they get a taste of Greece, but it's also important that they get a taste of Greece, but it's also very important that they get it from a real Greek, like from the Greek, because a lot of people in LA have been to Greece. A lot of people are tourists that are traveling and are travelers, and a lot of other people are simply Angelinos and Americans that live here but have gone to Greece, and they love that experience. Like, when they come up, we have a conversation, we chit-chat. The coffee takes a minute. I do everything old school style, so everything takes a sec. Every cup is custom. So we converse. They converse with people that are also waiting for coffee, and it's a very Greek experience. It's very communal. And so people come on a regular basis. They have their chit-chat. They have their coffees. They have their spanakopithes. Everyone loves the product, but I feel like the experience is as important.
So how do we know where to find you if we're in LA? Do you sort of frequent certain areas?
Yes. I go to the same spots mostly every week. Mostly Sherman Oaks and Santa Monica and Hollywood. But I may change locations sometimes based on events. I may go somewhere else. I have a Yelp tracker, which tracks my GPS location on Yelp, which can be annoying sometimes because I have forgotten to turn it off. And you can also find me on Instagram. Every day on my story and on my page, I post where I'm at. I do silly little posts that are relative to my location on a daily basis.
So
I also use Beacons app,
okay.
But that's still a new app, so it's not as key for getting customers. But Beacons, spelled B-E-E, like a bee, is also a very useful tool for getting customers to come try out the shop.
Okay, so the best way to find you in LA is if we happen to frequent California, wherever we are in the world, we're going to find you on Yelp.
Yelp and Instagram.
Oh, that's right. We got to stalk you on Instagram because you do have a very entertaining Instagram.
What? Where? Where? Here, in beautiful Crescent Bay Park, in Santa Monica, you will find the Little Greek Coffee House.
And I'm just me. You know, the beautiful thing about owning your own business is you get to do your own thing. You get to have your own marketing plan, strategy, and you really get to live for you. And I'm a goofball who loves serving people, and I'm just goofy.
Happy Saturday.
Alexi is, a lot more than just an entrepreneur. You've had quite the career in Cyprus. You are a trained actor, and you still are a working actor in LA.
Hi. Is this seat taken?
Why, no.
So tell viewers who don't maybe know your work what you did in Cyprus.
Well, not just Cyprus. I actually started as a British stage actor in the UK. So I trained as a Shakespearean, a classical actor, and like it all started in the UK. I'm very much most proud of that, in all fairness. And then, yeah, I went and had a career in television and theater in Cyprus. I was lucky. I was involved in some of the most successful shows before and during the whole transition with Greek stars coming to Cyprus. So I started years ago on what was, and I believe still is, like the #1 comedy in Cypriot history, To Kafenio, which was a great show with some classic characters. It was a 90s shows that went into the turn of the century, and I was on there for one season, and it was a really great honor, and that sort of introduced me to audiences. And then, I went and did the British thing, and I came back, and I was lucky to get on a show called Sefondo Kokino, which had the first transition of a really major Greek star coming to Cyprus in his prime, Panagiotis Boulouris, and he and I became, we still are, we're brothers, we're family. We became really tight, really quick, and we also did another show together called Tomiden, which was like a really edgy, daring show. It pushed every boundary in Cyprus. I'm really proud of that one, too. And Pedrito Simadi. I was lucky to be in a very big show called Aspra Bologna as well. And there were a few others. It was a really good experience. I went there, I worked, but for me, I always wanted to go elsewhere and try my luck. I speak English like an American. And so I thought, well, while I'm young and I still have the drive, I'm going to go to the United States and try. But I definitely gave my all to Cyprus and received a lot in return. And it was a great experience. The fans there are really special. And I was at one point I was on two shows that would play at the same time on two different networks. And the one was the #1, and the other one was #2. And it was fun because we would sit and click the channel with my friend. I never changed. I never became one of those guys who, I'm a celebrity. Same friends, same stuff.
Yeah.
Life. We used to sit and laugh at me. My buddies would still rip on me. And I would always know who watched which show. Because on one show, I was like a dodgy character. A guy who's a bit not the best kind of character. And on the other one, I was the good guy. And so some people would come up and be like, re kumbare, re Filipe. I'd be like, other times, people would come up, and in Cyprus, this would happen. I might come up and be like, "Τι κάνεις, βρε, τι κάνεις, τι κοπέλα, τι κάνεις, βρε, δεν τρέπεσαι." Βλέπεις το 0. Συγγνώμη, ρόλος είναι,
That's the best. That's the best.
So it was really, really, really great experience. I made a lot of good, great quality friends. I got to, rub elbows and hang out with all these major Greek personalities, celebrities, and I got to go to a lot of concerts for free. And that was one of the best parts, is all the great Greek musicians that are out there that I got to watch perform right up front and close and personal. It was a wonderful experience. I will always cherish those times.
Just to let you know, Alexi has been in General Hospital, Days of Our Lives. I know you had a part in The Last Ship, so you've done some stuff in the U.S. What was it like when you first came?
I gotta be honest. I've been lucky. So I wasn't a SAG actor when I first came. Obviously, to be on those big shows, you have to join the union to get on TV. There's the odd role that you don't, but generally. And so I always worked. I've never done anything here until this. I've never done anything but acting. I started off, when I came, I was booking all these roles in lesser projects, which was a verification for me, because I was like, okay, every time I go for this low-budget indie film, I book something. Every time half the time I go for a commercial, I book something. So I really didn't have that same kind of struggle getting work. But it did take about 1.5 years before I booked General Hospital. And once I booked General Hospital, it rolled from there. I've been in a lot of TV. I'm not the best at marketing myself or publicizing it because I don't really care about that stuff. I'm more about the work. And so I've done a tremendous amount of work here, and it's been a lot of fun. I never had that breakout role, that one big role that did it. I've had some good indie projects. But I've been on over 20 network shows. I've had recurring roles and guest star roles and co-star roles. And I supported myself for years as an actor, and I'm very proud of that. I do think it's difficult. I came at the right time. I'm not really easily discouraged, and I don't mind rejection. So for me, it was it wasn't as difficult to transition. It was a little lonely because I didn't know anybody here, but I quickly made friends and just kept booking. So for 5.5 years, that's all I did. It was, auditioning, booking, auditioning, booking. And that was my life, nonstop. And I did a lot of voiceover too.
Right.
So I also had the advantage of being able to book voiceover work that could pay for me to audition. Because it's all about supporting yourself for the audition out here.
Right.
It's all about having to pay for the audition time. And if you can do that from acting, if you can do that from within the industry, then you raise your chances of success. And I just never got a straight job, so my chances of success were higher. So for all you actors who are planning to come out here and try to be actors here, I don't have much advice besides have a great attitude, don't be discouraged, and if you don't have to work a daily job, don't. And it means suffering and sometimes not knowing if you're going to pay your rent on time, but that's really what it takes to work as an actor in this city. You can't have distractions.
And also, like, a lot of talent, because I know I've seen your work with your accents, which I think that you do some of the greatest accents. So
I'm a groomer. I shave men for money.
Okay. I generally played lascivious characters, romantic, mischievous, but sort of like that realm. And then I moved here, and I realized really quickly that wasn't how the American audiences saw me. They saw me more threatening, like an era. So I saw that accents were big. You need good, authentic accents, and killers, and terrorists, and baddies. And so that's what I saw as my niche, and so I exploited that niche.
Right.
Even though before, this is what I was. I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit here and tell them what they should cast me as. They're inviting me in for these types of auditions. They want to see me do accents and that stuff, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And, yeah, accents became my specialty for voiceover, for acting, theatrically. I have rarely played Americans here.
Okay, well, fast forward to 2019, so you roll out Little Greek Coffee House. Why did you do that? I mean, I read a little bit about you in the LA Voyager that, you do come from a long line of food entrepreneurs. A lot of us grew up in the food industry. But if you're anything like me, I grew up in it, but I was like, okay, see you later. Like, I never wanted to do anything in it because I'd had enough. What happened with you? Why did you want to go back into food now?
I never didn't want to go into food. It was always something that I wanted to do. I love serving people. I love making people feel good and happy and making people smile. It's a big part of why I became an actor. I'm a comedy actor. I have to adapt and play all these other types of roles, but if it was my choice, it would be comedy all day, every day, because that's what makes people laugh and feel good. The other stuff's interesting. It's great. We need drama. We need action. We need that. But I like making people feel good. And food is a guarantee. Beverage is a guarantee. You can really make people feel good. And so it was a natural evolution. Pardon me. I didn't lose my love for acting, but it doesn't do it for me the same way it does. I don't want to be famous, basically. I'm not that interested in fame. Being a celebrity was fun in Cyprus. It was a good experience. I definitely, enjoyed myself. In America, if you become famous, you really can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. And there was a point here where I was working a lot. And I was, like, every month I was on at least one network show for something like 7 or 8 straight months, maybe bar 1 month. And I got on a plane to go do this Greek film, Epiphany, in Tarpon Springs, Florida. And I was recognized on the plane because I had just done this MTV show. And I got recognized by a couple of young girls that were sitting behind me. And I could hear them saying, oh, that's the guy from, and this. And like, I just realized, wow, I don't want to live the life where I can't get on a plane. I can't go and eat. I can't do that. I'm going to pull back a little bit from the acting and really focus on voiceover work, which I still love. And I still do. I do audiobooks and voiceover. And I'm going to focus my energy on this business that I've always wanted to do, that now I'm in a position to do. So I still do the acting, but I'm more into producing now. I make I produce 2 films a year. This year, maybe 3. I've got a couple of award-winning films, an award-winning short, an award-winning feature, multiple film festivals internationally, and so that gives me more time. When you produce a film, it gives you more time to do other things as well. And so I just zeroed in on the business. I thought, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to put all my energy into this. And once it's up and running and it's taken off and I can expand, I'll sit back and I'll think about the acting again. But ultimately, I think it's leaning towards producing films. I really love producing.
Well, I want to take you a little bit back into Little Greek Coffee House now. Obviously, it's coffee. I want you to go through a little bit of the menu with me. And then at the end of Star Foodies, Alexi, it's all about the fayito. It's all about the food here. You're going to tell me a little bit about your Cypriot food that you grew up with and the recipe you're going to give me. But for right now, tell me what. So I pull up in front of Little Greek Coffee House. Does the menu change? Do you have specials on a daily? Give me something, because I saw some cool stuff on Instagram. You've got some banana frappe, oatmeal milk going on. Give me some of that stuff.
I'm not going to all my frappe recipes, but I make a lot of, as I don't just do the traditional frappe.
Yeah.
I have over 12 milks that I use for combination. I don't use any artificial flavorings or sweeteners or anything. Everything's organic and natural, except for my banana almond milk, because only one brand makes it so far that I've found. So that's the only milk that's not organic, but it's a good brand.
Okay.
My menu is static, and then I have specials. So my menu is above me, and I'll go down the line. It's the iced frappe. I do it, which is the classic, and then you get it, to taste with the milks that you like. The banana split frappe, for example, with banana almond milk and dark chocolate almond milk, or just chocolate almond milk. But then I also do a frappe bowl, where I make the frappe an edible experience rather than a beverage. The whole thing is foam. I top it with caramel, some chocolate, the little chocolate chips, and a cookie, an organic cookie. And you eat it with a spoon. And that's the frappe bowl. And then I do some other things, like the hot Greek coffee, obviously, we're all going to do Ελληνικό Cafe. And I use Lumidis, a little plug there for Lumidis, because it's a wonderful coffee, and they've been very good to me. Yeah. And they follow me on Instagram and everything. I also do a spicy Greek. So I make cochin with different spices from the Mediterranean and black cardamom. It's almost like a chai, but I tell people, they're like, oh, it's like a chai. And I'm like, well, in Greek, chai in Cypriot, chai is just tea. So it's not chai, it's my spicy Greek. And I add that to all the beverages. I do sideritis tea, which I mix a lot of times with Aloisa, which I believe is lemon verbena. And that comes from Cyprus. That actually comes from my father's farm. It's very well grown. It's sideritis Cypria, which is a really good, luscious, non-fuzzy version of sideritis. And it's all organically grown, like I said, by my own man. I also bring in dark chocolate. That I bring from South America because they just do it really good. And Luke's, I bring green cola from Greece, and that's actually an organic Coke-like beverage that has no sugar and no bad ingredients, no preservatives. And then my water, Zavori waters. Right. Top it off with, the specials. It's like the spanaklobites, the tirobites. All those things come on the day, though. So my caterer, Actor Alexi, who's a wonderful caterer, they bring that on a daily basis. So I'll order everything, they bring it in the morning. Whatever is made that day is served that day. And whatever isn't, I eat. Get a fresh order for tomorrow. So I don't serve anything that's old. The baklava goes a few days longer, but it usually doesn't last. They're really amazing caterer.
So now in the time of we're living in a really unique time in the world where a lot of us are pretty much quarantined here in Toronto, we still, I'm still filming, I'm still going out. Has anybody asked you to do deliveries now that you're?
Yeah, of course. Yeah? I'm on Grubhub, and I'm trying to line up Postmates and do deliveries. You got to adapt and survive. I can actually hit the streets. I'm allowed. I serve essential things. Okay. Coffee be considered essential. I serve water and food. Those are considered essential, and I'm not a dine-in. But I am technically a restaurant, and restaurants can stay open. Oh, I'm sorry, my cat's here, and she just the tripod. So I can do delivery. I've taken a couple days off just because this lockdown's a bit intense, and I thought I'll take a few days off and see how to just do deliveries. But starting this weekend, I'll be back on the streets. Like tomorrow, actually, starting tomorrow, I'm going to go back on the streets. I got a lot of requests because there's nobody out and about. So I'm looking to teach. I'm going to go back to Santa Monica and serve all the wonderful people the stuff that they need.
Bravo. And I also think that you're, spreading some joy and entertainment along the way, which is really important because to have a positive attitude at this time. So, Alexa, the time has come. I hope you're ready for me because I've interviewed quite a few bachelors on the show because, it's our second season here. And they tell me they can cook. And then when I come to the end of the interview, they're like, here's my mom's recipe because I really can't cook. So I want to know the truth from you, Alexi. Do you cook?
I've been cooking since I was a child. I love it. I take great pride in my cooking. I love cooking, and I believe I cook pretty well.
Okay.
I grew up around chefs. I considered going to culinary school for about 15 seconds one time. But ultimately, I'm an actor, and I was an actor, so I couldn't. But, no, I cook. I cook all my meals. I don't like eating out very much, and if I'm going to eat out, it's going to be something that I really can't cook or because of an event. I cook for my dog, and I cook for me.
Oh, bravo.
I'm not one of those, like...
Pretend cooks. You really are a real cook.
Serious. When I was living in London, I always cooked, and I cooked well. But when I lived in London, that's when I had to step up my game, because I was a stage actor in London. I didn't have a lot of money, and I'm a social being. And so I couldn't always afford to go out and have the pints and do all that stuff in London. So I zeroed in on cooking so that I could have parties and invite people to my place. I had a great place. It was on just on the river with a view and a little veranda. So I could entice people over, but the food had to be good. So Gordon Ramsay was my guide. I followed all the major chefs that were out there doing cooking shows and cookbooks and that, but Gordon Ramsay had the best restaurant. So I would cook what he made, but then I would go to his restaurant and it was tip-top. Whereas I can't say the same for Blumenthal and Oliver and a lot of the other big chefs. Their restaurants were actually pricey and iffy sometimes. It was hit or miss. But Gordon was the man.
Okay.
And I just followed Gordon's lead. He used to do a cook-along show where you would cook with him live on TV so you could learn how to time things out, do the prep before, and then cook with him because it's all about timing. And so I take my cooking pretty seriously, actually. Don't bug me while I'm in the kitchen.
Don't bug Alexi while he's in the kitchen.
Don't bug me. There's a science, Baking is science, cooking is art. So I like to think that it's a bit of a combination of the two. And
okay.
So it's like a science when I'm in the kitchen. I really love doing it. Put on the music, dance around, I throw things. I'm a bit ridiculous, but...
Well, if we're ever in the same city, Alexi, I'm going to officially invite you to my Star Foodies set to cook with me. Are you okay with that?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to. Okay. I was on a lot. I almost had a cooking show. The chef, whose book I have in front of me here, with a lot of the great Christos Christodolou, a very, very, very good friend of mine. I left Cyprus, but the only thing that was going to keep me there, we were going to do a cooking show together.
Ah.
The chef, me out in the wild getting the ingredients,
yes.
And then him, the chef in the kitchen, cooking it, and then us together eating it. I had to leave ultimately. It was a major life decision, but this guy in this show was the one thing that almost kept me in Cyprus, a cooking show.
Oh, wow. Well, you never know what the future holds, Alexandra.
You never know.
You never know. Lipon, you showed me that cooking book. Tell me about the recipe you're going to give me so I can reproduce in my kitchen here in Canada.
Well, I will say that the Cypriot cuisine is wonderful. I grew up in Cyprus. My mother is a wonderful cook. My father is a spectacular cook as well. They're both very, very good. My dad cooks less. My mom would cook, obviously, every day. It was a different era, stay-at-home mom. We got 3 square a day and a lot of classic stuff. We grew up on the Ospria, not a lot of meat.
Okay.
A lot of and cereal, really. But in this case... I'm choosing something that wasn't my mother's recipe. It was something that I got from Christos Christodolou, the chef in Cyprus, and I play with it. So I don't necessarily do it exactly like he does it. Sometimes I do, Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I mix it up. But it is, and I'll show you a picture first because it's magnificent.
Let me see.
It is the potato sandwich.
Oh, bravo.
I love this. I love throwing dinner parties. So I like having dinner parties for all my friends. LA's a massive city. It's hard to get people together in a space. But they know that if they're going to come to my place for a party, that there's going to be a lot of food and a lot of good people are going to come together. And this is one of the classic things that I'll make when I have those parties. And it's really simple and it's delicious. This one is a vegetarian version, but you can add meat. You ready?
I'm ready.
So you get a nice big patata of choice. I often do it with sweet potatoes, but you don't have to. You can also get a nice Idaho potato, preferably a potato from Cyprus, because Cyprus has the best potatoes in Europe. You can look that up.
At the end. So give me the basics here, Alexandra.
What you need is you need a potato, a nice big potato. You need kologithi, courgettes, zucchini, mushrooms, red onions, or any onions of choice, but I always follow the recipe on this one. The red onions are really nice.
Yeah.
Some tomato, some eggplant, mushrooms of choice, I didn't mention. You can use any mushroom you like. I generally use baby bellas or a big portobello.
Yeah.
And then to that, you can put whatever else you like. You can put lettuce in there. You can put potato inside if you like. You can put anything you want. But I stick to that classic recipe of courgettes, aubergine, tomato, mushrooms, onions, and tomato. And then drizzling balsamic on top. But you get all these ingredients. Την πατάτα βγάζεις στη μέση.
Right.
So you get a potato like so. You cut off the top, you cut off the bottom, you remove the middle.
Okay.
I actually like dicing up that part and then surrounding the sandwich with it in the oven in a little pot with the potatoes, because then it turns it like a mush. And if you want, you can spread that on. You have like a little more potato inside. Or I just spoon it into my mouth. And so you bake the patata mesto forno. O spunanetimi. And then you get all the other stuff and you cook them either in the forno, on the grill, or in the tigani. I prefer the grill. I have a yard, I have a grill, so I take the vegetables, I take the aubergine, the courgettes, the tomatoes, and the mushrooms, and I grill them all. The mushrooms, I caramelize them in a tiganaiki.
Nice.
In a pan.
Nice.
I really like it that way.
Nice.
And so then you just take all your ingredients and turn it into a sandwich. Cypriot cuisine is simple. And what Christos has done that I love with all his Cypriot cuisine is he's taken the classic stuff and he's modernized it.
Okay.
And I like that because I'm an old school Greek, but I got a modern taste bud. I live in this century.
Sure. And for those of us, like, if we don't want to have meat, I think it's a great alternative.
Yeah, and it's really hearty, it's filling, it's delicious, it's impressive. You can make a bunch, so when I do the parties, I get the smaller little round white potatoes, and I make like little sliders out of them.
Oh, very
good. Yeah, and simplicity is the key. So one thing that I got from Gordon Ramsay is you can do the intricate French cuisine, and that's great. But on a daily basis, really what you want is delicious, fresh food that's simple. And that's my motto for cooking. Yeah, I'm going to do a roulade from time to time. I'm going to do a Wellington. I'm going to do some complicated things from time to time. But ultimately, for me, it's about simplicity. And this patato sandwich is one of my favorite simple things because it's hearty, it's delicious, it's clean, it tastes good, and it's easy to make.
I can't wait to try it.
Grillo tigani for the vegetables, and then you just layer it like you would a sandwich. And eat, consume.
Well, I am headed there after this commercial break. Alexi, give me a close-up on that. Beautiful.
Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful salata. And I will say anyone who really wants to, he really is an amazing chef. This guy I love him on many levels because of how he fed me. Okay? And you can check out his work, Christos Christodolou. And it's Efkoli Griori Magiriki is this book. And it's got that very same recipe in that. And it's got a lot of really good Cypriot dishes.
Oh, perfect. I'll find that link and I'll edit there for our YouTube followers to take a peek. Alexandra, είναι έτοιμη να βάλω την ποδιά. Εγώ θα πάω στη κουζίνα μετά από αυτό το διαφημιστικό break. So I hope I do your recipe justice. I will send you a photo and you'll see everything on Instagram. Hopefully you'll like what we do. Σε ευχαριστώ so much. Congratulations on Little Greek Coffee House.
I'm honored that you had me on. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed all your episodes and watching the celebrities, all these Greeks. I know a lot of the people that you've had on, and they're wonderful people, and it's nice seeing that side of them. And I'm really happy you're doing this show. It's really important.
Aww.
And thank you for including me in this.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I have a feeling that I may be seeing you in a kitchen sometime soon.
You never know. You never know.
Thank you, Aleximu. Ciao.
It was a pleasure. Ciao.
Let's do a promo now together. Alexi, where are you?
Hey, Christina. I'm in front of the little Greek coffee house here in beautiful Los Angeles.
Hey, Alexi, do you cook?
Hello, Christina. Of course I cook. I'm a Greek.
Oh, that's right. And hey, Star Foodies around the world, boy, do I have a treat for you. Even though the world is in a completely different place, guess who I found all the way in Los Angeles? Tell us who you are.
I'm Actor Stavrou of the little Greek coffee house. What was the question?
Okay, I'll do the question again. You ready?
Alright, yeah.
What's the secret? Is it toasting it really thin? Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but we'll give it a try. So you're happy with everything that we have here?
I think it's perfect. You just tell me when you're ready, and I'm ready to go. Because I'm doing my own hair, makeup, directing, producing, and Chef Russ.
She's like, that's what she's saying.
Okay. So I'm giving you a 1, 2, 3. Bonsoir, Chef Russell.
Hey, bonsoir, Christina.
Ça va?
Ça va?
Ça va bien, et toi?
Ouais, ça va très bien maintenant. Oui, merci.
Je suis très contente que je suis avec toi encore une fois.
Ouais, ça fait le 5e fois et ça fait un grand plaisir que tu choisis moi pour le premier épisode de COVID-19 dans la maison. No, too much French there, guys. But honestly, thank you so much for thinking about me to start off your home edition for COVID during what everyone seems to be doing all around the world as we're shut down, and we're trying to do things, still get the show going and getting all the celebrities menus and ingredients and trying to make them happy and give them justice. So thank you so much for bringing me back on.
It's my pleasure to work with you again. You were my top choice for my first chef to kick off Star Foodies at Home Edition. So excited. And I've told our celebrity Star Foodie, Alexis Stavrou, all about you. And I Skyped with him as well. So this is a true remote episode because Alexi is based in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Now, you are at PentHouse Catering,
Yeah.
and I am in my humble mode here where I am filming, and I have to say that I'm so inspired by what Jimmy Fallon is doing, and I hope that what we do inspires everybody around the world, that we can just keep going and keep the show going remotely.
Well, I mean, like, when you asked me, I'm like, yeah, well, so many people are doing it, but I didn't realize that people are doing it online, right? No network has said, hey, let's fill in the gap or let's do a show where you have a host and a guest and a chef. So kudos to you and, Star Foodies for doing this.
I'm in no kitchen, and I've got it easy today because I know you make me do some work. So today...
I know, you got it very easy today.
I got it easy today. All I did was I interviewed Alexi, and I brought, for viewers that are just tuning in right now, so I brought you, I think it's a unique recipe. It
is very unique, probably one of the most healthiest ones I've received.
Yeah.
It's a little different. I don't know if I wasn't, like, in the interview, I wasn't sure if this was something that was passed down, because some of the other people, the guests that we did in the past, it was like something that was like a relative, a grandmother or something. I think this is his. I think he came up with this because he does cook.
This is from his favorite chef. It's a Cypriot chef because Alexi was raised partly in the United States and then partly in Cyprus.
Yeah.
So he said, I'm going to give you a favorite recipe. He does his own rendition on it, but it's essentially just vegetables in a potato, and he makes it into a potato burger. It's a veggie burger.
Yeah, and what I love about this is, when I looked at it, and I was like, the cost and, it's probably, when you think about, because you're obviously not going to be using all these ingredients, it's probably under $2.
Wow.
It's super, and for everyone at home that's trying to do things, because these are one of the things that, when you look at your pantry, and if you're not like a vegan or vegetarian, these are the ones that kind of spoil or go away quickly. Okay. So before you know what, these are perfect ingredients to just put together and make it into a sandwich like he did. So he found a very unique way, guys. Watch how we do this using a burger as bread for our vegetarian burger. So,
so why don't you tell our viewers at home about the ingredients?
Yeah, so if you come on in, I'm gonna go over the ingredients. So this is a veggie potato burger. We have a rustic potato here. It comes with red peppers, onions, mushrooms, garlic, tomatoes, eggplant, zucchini, lettuce, and then in our sauce, we're going to whip up some olive oil, English mustard, balsamic vinegar, salt, pepper, as well as the garlic with that. So interesting.
Along with being economical, it seems to me like it's healthy and light and easy and fast. So at the end of the day, we can do
Very
this.
simple recipe.
I'm thinking like the only thing that might take a while is baking the potato, or depends how you want to make it, right?
So I mean, I already have my pot over here. So just baking it won't be good enough. You're gonna have to. It's not in the recipe, but I know you're gonna have to, especially this size.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to put it in, drop it in some. I actually put it on a high boil water.
Okay.
And I let it go for about 15 minutes. You should poke into it with a fork. I wouldn't use a knife. Sometimes you can break it. So using a fork will help, cook inside easier. Okay. But you're not going to cook it all the way. So it's going to be just past half to 3/4. Okay. And then you finish it off in the oven.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, but we're going to work on that. We're going to do some of that today. So let me just rearrange and get my workspace ready so I can do some chopping and cutting. I'm also going to be giving a lot of tips.
Oh, that's great. So
for our viewers.
I'm going to try this myself. Now, usually I do try all the recipes with my chef. But once we're done, I'm going to try this at home and see if I can replicate it too. So I'm paying extra attention today.
Absolutely. And, another thing, because what I'm doing right now, I'm just holding my knife. It's not, it will help to get my blade sharp. But it's very important, everyone, that you use a sharp knife, especially when you're working with all these different types of vegetables, okay? What would you like me to start first? Anything here that you have?
So let's say
Because I got to get you to participate somehow.
I love it. So I'm thinking, I'm a sous chef, like I'm amateur. So what would be for me that I'm learning? What would be the easiest thing? Should I begin with the eggplant? Would I begin with the pepper? Like what would I begin with?
All right. No, actually, that's a great point that you made out there, because it's not about picking out what's easiest. It's always taking what's going to take the longest, right? So in prep, when you're timing things, when you're cooking, it's like, okay, so like when in my cooking class, right? For example, I get people like, why are you going for the easiest? Because it's the easiest thing, right? It's like, no, let's do the things that are going to take the most time. And while that's happening, right? So like, for example, I'm going to take a potato and I'm going to drop it in our pot of water right now. Okay, great. So that's going to go down right now. Okay, great. Okay? So while that's happening, I can start doing other things. Great. Do you follow me? So it's all about timing and how we're going to do it. So after anything else that you want to?
We're off to a great start. So we begin.
Okay. There's also a different time of cook. Obviously, I just talking about the potato that has to go first. There's cooking time involved for all these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ingredients for our veggie burger, right? Okay. So I'll show you how to cook and what goes what and what, because again, it's timing. You want to do what takes longer. So here I have a nice fresh zucchini, skin on. You don't need to peel it, but if you want to, you can. You need to be very careful, because with the zucchini, what you want to do is cut thin slices, okay? So what you're going to do is make sure that your cutting board is sturdy, sharp knife, and the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to show you, is you want to place down. So I already cut it in half so that it'll help me. It'll be more sturdy and it won't move when I'm cutting. Okay. So all I'm doing is cutting thin slices. How thin? Well, it's totally up to you. It's how thin you want it. I'm doing it on a knife, because I like mine a little bit thicker. But if you feel that this is too thick, I don't think so. Make it easier for yourself, okay? So what you can do is you can use a peeler. Okay. So I have a peeler like this, all right? And what you can do is you can just peel one layer off, and here you have a nice thin slice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
These are just, options, right? So it's up to you. So I'm just going to do the one just to show people how to do it. But depending on how much you want on your burger, it's just like saying how much you want on your, like how much lettuce or pickles or, on your own burger. Okay. I'm going to do the one just so you know how to do it. But I would recommend doing 2 pieces about that size. And then with my eggplant, again, skin on. Everything has been cleaned or washed to what I need it. Okay. But I want you to remember, you want to bring your knife down. I'm not cutting up here, okay? I'm not cutting at the root. I'm cutting at the base. Okay. And I'm going to guide my knife, and I want to get a nice thin slice, Okay, so again, I'm going thin. I'm trying to keep it the same size as my zucchini. Okay, if you do that, it'll fit better on your burger.
Okay.
Now I want to talk about the pepper. Pepper is interesting because in my cooking class, I always see people tend to go for the pepper like this and cut it in half.
Yeah.
Okay, or they will cut off the head or the roof. All right, and then they'll start cutting. But when you do that, why do you need that big mess? When you do that, what happens? All the seeds fall out.
Right.
All the seeds fall out. You have all these seeds in different places. You don't have to do that. What I do when I cut peppers, I always cut like this. I always cut the outside and I cut in. Okay? That's it. All the seeds will stay in the crown. No mess. All right. Then from here, you're not done with the pepper. What you're going to do. So again, we're going to cut in half in here in the middle. And then from here, with my knife, be very careful. I want to take out this. What is this? Do you know what that is? Can you see that?
The membrane.
Can you see that? What is that?
The membrane.
The membrane. Okay. So the membrane, it doesn't help with digestion, and it also makes or keeps the pepper more bitter. Okay? If you take the membrane out, you're left with this, which is the real pepper, the real flavor of the pepper. All right? It's actually going to be a lot more sweeter and a lot more flavorful.
Oh,
so I got that here, and I got that lined up with my eggplant and zucchini. All right, so I'm done with the pepper.
Okay.
Then tomato. So with this one, you want to use a firm tomato. Okay, not a soft one. Again, same thing, same technique. Follow your knife. Use a sharp knife. You'll get a nice cut of tomato. Okay, we have that in there. Then we have mushrooms. How do you wash your mushrooms?
Just under the faucet.
So like I don't know if you can see me here, but maybe in the other camera, right? So just under here, place, right? Or maybe you put it in a bowl, fill it up with water.
But I find like when I put in a bowl, fill it up with water, they have so much dirt on them.
Okay, and then maybe a strainer.
That would be a good idea.
Okay.
But I'm waiting for the right way though.
I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
I'd love to know the right way.
So the right way is none of the above.
Oh.
So I know other Greeks out there are probably saying, "What's this guy saying?" They want to smack the camera, smack the screen right now. But the truth is, scientific answer is you never wash mushrooms.
Nadia, so why?
So number one, when you're washing a mushroom, you're actually spoiling it. Number two, when you're washing it, the dirt is actually clinging onto the mushroom, not coming off. So your instinct is right, is that it's dirty, how do I clean it? And you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to put it under water.
Yeah.
But in reality, all you're doing is destroying it. You're not cleaning it.
Wow.
It's actually staying on the mushroom more. So what's the best way to clean a mushroom? Is with a brush.
Oh, so does the brush just take off the dirt, like the soil?
That's right. So that's how you clean it. That's the best way. All right? No one really eats mushrooms raw, so when you cook it, any bacteria is going to cook off anyways.
Okay.
So number one, you never ever wash mushrooms. People always give me that strange look that you're giving me right now in my class.
I just love that I learned something new because my whole life, literally, I'm drowning them.
You know what? Here, I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you right now. Go walk into any grocery store, yours or any grocery store, independent, commercial, and go to the section, and then, the kid that has the hose that's washing everything else, ask them, hey, how come you're not washing the mushrooms? And they'll tell you, because then I have to throw it all away. It will destroy it.
Wow.
They'll spoil it. Okay?
Great tip.
All right, Kufla, no problem, as long as I can teach you something, and your viewers. As long as I can teach the viewers something. So, cut your mushrooms, again, we're trying to keep everything kind of similar. All right, so just here, showing you again the sizes of how thin I went with the eggplant, zucchini, and tomato. So the mushrooms, we want them thin too. Cutting mushrooms, most chefs, they'll usually tend to, with the point of the knife, they'll just come, right? Get nice thin slices like this, all right? So we want to go pretty thin. We don't want to go thick. So think of like a pizza, if you're having pizza. Okay. What type of mushroom am I using? Do you know? What is this?
Shitumi?
Cremini mushroom. Cremini mushroom.
Okay.
Yeah, so cremini, why compared to, you can go with white button mushroom. Cremini has a lot more flavor. Pay the extra $1, you're just getting a lot more for your money for flavor.
Okay, good. You know what, that's great because who knows how to pick mushrooms at the supermarket? Like, I didn't know how to pick them.
Right. Well, depending on, certain things that you do, when I used to run an Italian restaurant, we had up to 4 different types of mushrooms in our pizza and in our pasta. So if somebody ordered a fungo crema, for example, it's a mushroom pasta. It's not one type. And when you go to a real authentic Japanese or Italian, they know to combine. Now, if your viewer just thinking, well, what does it mean? Why is it 3 or 4 mushrooms? It's when they marry together, or when they get put together, is when the robust flavor comes out the best. And the other thing is, with mushrooms, they work best, in my opinion, with cremini, porcini, portobello, as well as the Japanese enoki mushrooms.
Okay.
Enoki mushrooms. Okay. When you combine it together, but again, it's preference. But if you go to any real Italian restaurant, they'll always have on their pizza up to 4 different types.
Great.
Okay. But we're using one because this is, mushrooms are probably the best meat alternative, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I do this awesome recipe in the oven, chef, with just like the portobello, the big ones, and then you cook them and they are delicious.
That's a great burger on its own. Just having that in between. But you need to clean out the inside. I did cut that pretty fast for your viewer, so I just want to slow it down.
Okay.
You have to remember something when you're chopping and cutting. Most of your chopping and cutting, I would say 95% of all of it, it's going to always be at the heel of the blade. A lot of people will tend to be in the middle or at the tip. You always want to be down here. All right. And I'm cutting pretty thin.
Okay.
This will cook off in seconds. Okay, literally seconds. So that might be one of the last things that we cook off today. And then we have the onion. Okay, so we just need a few slices from the recipe. We just need a few slices of onions. But let's teach your viewers something very important today. Hopefully we have enough time. But this is extremely important. A lot of people don't like to cut onions. Why?
Makes you cry.
Makes you cry. Okay, so people, if you listen up and give me just an extra minute here so I can explain something that will be a life-changing experience. If you follow my instructions, you will never shed a tear again. Okay? Did you hear what I said?
I'm so mesmerized. I'm never going to shed a tear again. I love cooking with you.
Okay, so you'll never ever shed a tear again. So number one, it's how you store, how you cut your onions that will tell me. So number one, you should never buy a bag of onions. All right, most people that I know, probably halfway down, they go through the bag, the rest of it's spoiling. Okay, you should buy what you need.
Okay.
Number two, I would say the number one answer where people store their onions is usually in a cool, dark place. So it might be the cold room in the basement. It might be underneath the sink. It might be in their pantry. But the best place, because I don't know a restaurant that doesn't keep their onions in the fridge. By definition, a fridge is a cool and dark place. A lot of people in my class say no. I'm like, well, when the door's closed, it's actually dark and cool. So that's the definition of where you should keep your onions, in a cool, dark place. Okay, so in the fridge. Okay. Number one, why? Well, it will help keep it firm. When you keep it out, it sprouts, it gets soft, it bruises. By the time you're peeling, you're already shedding a tear.
And should we keep them on with the with their outer layers, or should we clean them and keep them in the fridge clean?
Pardon? I didn't understand the question.
Should we peel the outside of it and keep them in the fridge, like peeled, or should we keep them with their layers there?
So you keep the skin on.
Okay.
You keep the skin on. How do you peel your onion when you're ready to use it? Number one, you don't do this. You don't start doing it by hand. All right? You have to cut it this way. And this is how you always cut an onion. You cut it like an apple. Okay? So you never cut here. So in my class, I like to tell people this way, north and south. All right? Okay. You never cut it. So meaning north and south, meaning that's the top of the onion and that's the bottom of the onion. You with me?
Yeah.
So we're going to call it north and south. You never cut an onion in half through the equator. You always cut from North Pole to South Pole. So you always cut an onion just like this with the skin on.
Okay.
Okay? After that, you can cut off the North Pole and the South Pole. Okay? So the two tips. And then right after that, look how easy it is to get that skin off. Okay? So stop doing it in the beginning where you have it running all over, falling over the floor and you're chasing it around the kitchen. That's it. Get the top layer off. You don't need that. Then we slice. We only need a few slices. He doesn't say because obviously it's how much onions or how much you like.
Yeah.
He didn't specify. You can caramelize this if you want to. It's totally up to you, but we just need a few slices and that's it. And that's going to cook really fast as well. Okay. So we have most of our prep done. We're not almost done, but this I'm being honest with you, this is going to be the most educational video we have because right now I already taught you how to do the slicing techniques. I already taught you what you're supposed to do with mushrooms, but here is my favorite one. You ready for that?
I'm ready.
Okay. So here is what do we have? Kuko, what do we got?
Garlic.
Garlic, okay? So I didn't do anything to it, okay? What I hate is this. When I see people do this, all right? Very dangerous. I know a lot of people on television do it, but hopefully I'm the first one that will educate people how to do this properly. When you do that, you're actually, I didn't know people eat the cutting board because all you're doing is putting the flavor on the cutting board by doing that. And the last thing you shouldn't be doing is this. It shouldn't be. So what do? I didn't do nothing. I didn't cut it and didn't do nothing. All I'm going to do is take it whole. I'm going to put it in must-be a stainless steel bowl. Same size. Cover it up with a lid. And if you don't mind the noise, I'm just going to shake this up a bit. Are you shaking your hips?
If I was beside you, I'd be shaking.
So that was probably less than 10 seconds. So if you want to know without getting your fit, because garlic is something that it's really hard to get off you sometimes, especially in restaurants when we deal with so much.
Yeah.
This is the best way to peel garlic without your fingers smelling like garlic.
Okay, tip it more. Oh my goodness! So it's all peeled.
Okay, so you see that?
And it's broken apart and all peeled.
So, this is a great trick to teach, parents. If you're watching this, it's for the kids. Let them have some fun. You don't have to worry about getting it all thing. It's all done. It's peeled. So we only need one. Look what I mean by peeled. Look at that. It's clean.
I'm like in shock right now. I hate peeling.
You waited too long to take my cooking classes, Cook Lab.
You're gonna give us those details at the end of the show because you got something special.
Yes. Okay. So again, for this recipe, this is the garlic is for the sauce.
Yeah.
We just need a little bit. I don't mind a little bit more garlic for me, so I'm just gonna give that a rough chop. That's just gonna go into our sauce that we're gonna make. Okay. So my potatoes down. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna pop that in the oven. Okay. So just give me a second here and grab my tongs. All right, so we're just going to let that go. It's about 350 degrees in your oven, and I've already poked it, so you don't have to do anything else to it. Okay. And we're going to let that go for about 10-15 minutes, okay?
Okay, so that's going for 10-15 minutes. Now, can you tell me, what are we going to do with all of the veggies?
With all the veggies, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up our next part right now. Okay. We're going to start cooking our veggies so that when our potatoes ready, we can just make our sandwich.
You know what? I am so hungry. I've never done an interview before where I'm like, my stomach is growling at the same time.
You can smell it.
Smell-o-vision. So, and those of us who are vegan or vegetarian during this time period, man, this is such a great alternative.
Absolutely. This is a great option. So what we did was we cooked off our vegetables that are in the recipe from our onions, our mushrooms, our eggplant, our zucchini, our peppers, our potato, and now we're going to put it together as well as our dressing, our sauce that he gave us.
Okay, perfect.
So, are you ready?
Yeah,
okay, ready. So just run through that. It's up to you. I mean, you usually should start with putting the heavier ingredients on the bottom of the bun, so it's easier when you're holding it. So we're going to go with the heavier ones that came out, which will be for us. It's going to be the peppers. So we're going to use your hands to get in there. Okay, so I'm just going to put in the heaviest ones there. But then I want to have some of our lettuce. All right. So I'm just going to assemble here. And then we're adding the tomatoes, right? So we can see that. And then we're going to go ahead and add our mushrooms. Okay. So we have our mushrooms and onions here. And then we have our eggplant and zucchini. And obviously it will thin out as you cook it because that's what we want. But this is a very, very heavy sandwich. But we're not done yet. We still need to make the sauce to put into our burger. Okay, so let me just make some room here. All right, so let's go back to the recipe. For our sauce, Kukla.
Okay, hold
we
on. Wait. Stop. I can see Bang's hand and she's filming.
Yeah, you're too close.
Yeah. And, okay, so start the sentence again. From the, we are not done, we have to add the sauce.
Okay, so we're not finished yet. We also have to make our sauce. From Alexi's recipe, we have 4 tablespoons olive oil, 2 tablespoons balsamic vinegar, half tablespoon of English mustard. I didn't have English mustard. I have German mustard. I'm sure he won't be disappointed. I was in Germany. I was like, where am I going to go get English mustard right now? But when I was in Germany, I had some extra mustard, so we're going to use that today.
Well, just as a side note, because this recipe was given to us from a Cypriot chef, out of one of Alexi's friends, and, Cyprus was a British colony, so that's why I'm not surprised that they're giving us, they want the English mustard, but we here in Canada use German mustard.
It was just what I had.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any English mustard, so yeah. So sorry
for all the Cypriots who really wanted the English mustard.
So then we have our garlic cloves, bay leaves, and salt and pepper. Okay. So, like you were saying to me, you don't have to do it in a blender. It's just more mix it up, get the flavors in, correct? Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, some people use the mixer, but I grew up with my mom just wanting me to whisk everything, so.
Okay, so this is something that the children can help. So all I'm doing is applying those ingredients. Obviously, I'm just going to do a pinch of salt and pepper and get some of that. I'm not going to, so recipe calls for 2, so we're going to add that in. I'm so happy there's mustard and not ketchup or mayonnaise, for a burger. So all I'm doing right now, everyone, I'm just emulsifying, really, really simple, with a fork. Again, you can add this. I can already smell the binding of the balsamic vinegar and the mustard, as well as the garlic. So the garlic was in the bowl already as well. Okay, so as you see, I like the consistency right here that I have right now. Mm-hmm. All right, and then I'm just going to drizzle a little bit on. Okay, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Depending how much you want. But that's good enough for 2-3 burgers. Then we are going to take our top and, as they say, kukla, opa, or voila.
Voila.
Right? And then maybe just, there you go. All right. So I did my version, Alexi. I hope you're happy. I hope I didn't kill it for you too much, brother. But here is my version for everybody. So
that looks amazing. And that's
it kind of looks like, if you gotta put the picture beside it, it kind of looks very similar to this product.
I gotta give you a split screen. Great job on that.
Yeah. So so let me just share what we're going to be doing. So soon on Groupon, we're going to be selling a virtual experience. So what it is that you'll be able to buy so it's like, people don't know, I usually do cooking classes. I do up to 7, everything from CBD, knife skills, Indian, Thai, you name it. And so we're closed. So people are saying, yeah, but I still need, so people are asking me, and it's like, you know what? Can you do it online? Can you find a way? So we're going to do it where people purchase it. It'll be very affordable. And we're going to do them throughout the week. So maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And hopefully, just like today, you got some tips for me today. And if there's anything you can learn from me. And, just because you're watching doesn't mean the whole family can't watch. So it's like you buy one and, everyone gets to log in and watch it at the same time.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
And we'll see you on the next episode. Star Foodies.
À la prochaine, of course. Thank you.
Yeah, ciao.
Ciao.